Joining us this morning, of course, with Samara, who our guest co-host is City Manager Tim Eggleston. How you doing, Tim?
Good. Rain's no fun, but
Man, it's been coming down. Did you plant a garden or anything?
nah, we might plant some flowers over where we're staying. We got a couple tomato plants, but
Were you looking for somebody to blame?
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what. My wife planted roses in the spring, and they got beat up by the rain. You know, they knocked them down, and
Yeah, they don't like too much rain.
and it's been too much, really.
and the grass grows and we get complaints.
Well,
Every 3 days. Speaking of that, how's that project going with the mowing lawns?
You know, it's good. I mean, so far we've had over 109. You know,
109.
yeah, it's tough to keep up, but we're doing our best. Deanna Gates and I both go out and we do. Everybody does what they can to help keep it down.
Right.
The guy mowing, he's going to be back Thursday to start mowing some more properties here on East.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. So on the east side and a few others. So we're going to try to keep up on it. But you know, it's 109 growing.
How much you have to pay this guy to do this?
He's $20 an hour.
Really?
Yeah. So it's really kind of inexpensive to some.
Tomorrow we should have got into this business.
I know, right? I was just thinking the same thing. And then actually, with all this rain, I wouldn't have to be doing anything.
Nope, and he actually he does other municipalities, so he's well versed on it. But he does a good job.
Good.
So
Good.
And that just frees up our guys to be able to do what they need to do.
Well, you know, this the fact that this you guys took a very hard stand on it, and you've been talking about it for months that you were going to do it. It's worked, because I see a lot of people mowing their lawns that were a little bit lax.
Yeah, I mean the tough ones are the vacant lots. You know, where we've tore down the
Right.
homes that there just really isn't anybody to go after. We are going to try to look at a plan where maybe we force a foreclosure or something on the properties to be able to get those through the county land bank when they get it set up, so that we can do something with them. Because gee, I got here in 2011, and you know, there's some properties that we've just been mowing since then. I know it's been prior to that, and all we do is put a lien on the property, which, you know, doesn't really do much for us unless you can sell the property.
Right.
And
A lot of conversation's been on this show regarding the compost site, Tim, and I know you've been on top of this for weeks. Nick was on the other day, and said you're going to close it off temporarily. He called in this morning and said to ask you this. He said he thought it was going to be, the gate would be put up next week to close it off.
it's probably going to be a couple of weeks, but it's going to be going up. So we're going to get everything ready, and it's council's direction to close it off for a month and try to do something to start cleaning it up. We are going to be hiring a new public works director, so we're going to work with him and say, look, maybe once a day or once a week you're going to have to go out and just try to do something to start getting it cleaned up. But again, it is we've got to be cautious, because we're going to have to take things to the dump and those types of things.
Yeah, it's going to cost you money.
Yeah, but we do need an attendant. I mean, people have been dumping roofing materials, construction debris, appliances. I mean, it's like ridiculous. So this month we'll give council a chance and staff to be able to propose hours, fees for those that come out of PA that want to dump their recyclables and all that stuff. So we've got a little work to do on that, but it needs to be done. I mean, it is out of control. There's just not much, but we're still going to be looking for property to move the site eventually.
Well, Nick said this morning that apparently some lady got pictures of dumping actual furniture over there yesterday. Yeah. And he was pretty much beside himself regarding, he couldn't believe that they would do it in broad daylight like that. Not paying attention. Or don't care.
Yeah, I mean, what are you thinking? You know, if there's somebody there, so what? They're not gonna, you know, they're gonna say anything, or you know, there's a lot of times people scoot out of there really quick. And
yep.
Again, I don't know. We've turned it over to the police department, so it's whether they can do anything, whether she'd have to come forward as a witness if they do go to court. But they will obviously take the plate and confront the individual.
A lady called in knowing that you were coming in today and wanted to know if it's still okay for her to dump legal brush and stuff. If she goes over there, can she still get in there to
Oh yeah,
do that?
we haven't. It's going to take 2 weeks for the we're getting the gates fabricated, so it's going to take a couple weeks to get them, and then they're going to install them also. So
How much is that going to cost?
A few $1,000s.
Really?
But I can reuse the gates later on. I mean,
Other
it's not like we're making something that we can't use later.
Right,
If
right.
we ever get another site, then those gates will be moved to another site.
Okay.
We're going to probably look at maybe some split rail fence or something that, I mean, it is our industrial park, so I want to make sure that whatever we do, it makes it look presentable to somebody that may drive by and still see a park and want to build
Right,
there.
right.
But if whatever we use, like split rail fence, we'll just put it in so we can take it out. We may be able to use it at Malik Park or one of the parks later
Reuse
on.
it
So
again.
yeah, we're not going to do anything that we can't reuse.
Hi, you're on the air.
Good morning, people.
Sharpie.
I've used that place about 10 times already this year, and I could probably dig up another load. So the citizens are using it, but there's also some other kind of citizens out there that abuse it, right? We know that. They
Right.
abuse everything in their life.
Right.
That's what they're on earth for, to abuse everything.
It's been very much abused. It
That
really
lot
has.
between mine on 16th and Mill Street, that's over 6 inches already. The brush hog can't cut down lower than 6 inches. It's got a big cage around the blade. When
Where's-
it's all done cutting, it's still 6 inches.
Where's that at, Sharpie?
16th and Mill, behind my garage.
Right behind his house. Yeah.
It's all, I don't care if they cut 10 times, it's still 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Should raise it to 9, I guess. That's what it is in Geneva. Another thing, I just got home. The front end of my van, they call it a idler arm, and that's what steers the tire that's below the driver's feet. If that would have come off on the highway, I probably would have rolled over and crashed.
Mm.
So we got some bad streets and bumps. It's over the garage now. It'll probably cost a lot of money to have that welded back up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's enough for me.
All right,
Thank
Sharpie.
you.
Thank you. You know, we got a call yesterday from a lady that I believe just moved into Conneaut, and she was using Malik Park and said that I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but some people or kids or whatever took flags out there and stuck them upside down on the ground and did some vandalism out there. Did you get anything on that?
I picked up the flags.
Did you really? You were aware of it then?
Yeah. It was brought to our attention that an individual that was helping Mr. Raker was doing that as a protest against the government or something. So,
You're kidding.
we're dealing with that issue. I mean, it was blatantly disrespectful one way or the other.
Was it an American flag?
Oh yeah, those little flags they used to memorialize the trees and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So I picked them up the other day. Plus, I wanted to see the graffiti on the bridge, Parish overpass, which we're gonna get cleaned off. I mean, we are gonna start having a big push for graffiti cleaning. So if you own property and there's graffiti on it, you need to clean it off. We're doing that with our buildings, so we expect everybody to do that, and that is under the property maintenance code. So if you got a building or a house or something that's, whether it's abandoned or not, you're going to be responsible for cleaning off the graffiti.
Okay.
So that's going to be our next step. But yeah, I picked them all up. I've got them all set in my trunk.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she was kind of upset. And I told her, it happens, but I think she was afraid to go back, and that's not. I don't want that to happen. It's a nice park.
Oh yeah, and we're trying to get the sign. I asked the schools if we could move it onto their property to get it closer to the road, so people really going by can see there is a park there. Because once you go over that overpass and coming down,
it's hard to see.
It is. So we're trying to do a few things to make that a little better and nicer.
Okay. Here's your chance to talk to our city manager, Tim Eggleston, and you're getting a call now. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Pat. This is Connie Jury.
Hi, Connie.
This compost center's been weighing on my mind, and as long as you have Tim on there, I think you remember, and I remember that we used to have the leaf pickup, and in order to save money, they opened the compost center, and they had Mr. Colby out there, and he did a fantastic job. We used the compost center. We took stuff from the compost center under his supervision. And I just hope council doesn't close it for too long. And remember, there are people out there that really need to use it. And I think saving the money in Mr. Colby's wages, it has now cost us a lot more in the long run. And I also believe that we are a community, and all of Conneaut should support that. All of Conneaut should support the streetlights and the road paving. But I wish Tim would think about not keeping it closed any longer than he has to, because people do use it for legal reasons.
Okay, Connie, very good.
Okay, Pat, have a good day.
You too, Connie, thank you.
Bye.
And I think that's your game plan. You don't want to keep it closed.
No, I think, again, this is, council's direction is let's take a month, and maybe it'll end up being shorter. I don't know. I mean, you always have the ability as a citizen to contact your council person, discuss the issue with them. Just remember, the manager follows direction. I don't make the decisions, and that's just to let you know that the council does. They're saying, look, it is a mess. There is no doubt, and we need just a little time to try to get the trash cleaned up and separated. There's another little parcel there that we're going to get cleaned up and kind of shift the new area so that we can start within a time frame, start putting compost there while we're still cleaning up, because the days that we're cleaning up the site, we can keep the gate closed. It won't, right now, it's not going to be open every day. We're only
Even when it opens up.
Even when it opens up, we're looking at 24 hours, and probably right now I'm going to propose to council certain days. Probably won't be a Friday. Most times you don't see people coming out on a Friday, but Saturdays from maybe 8 to 1 or something like that. But when we had it in Marshall, Michigan, where I left, we did 4 hours in the morning on one day, 4 in the afternoon on the next, and kind of varied it up so that most of the time it was the contractors that wanted to drop stuff off.
Okay.
So,
And I understand that.
yeah.
Hi, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Tim, I like to say, okay, this person that took the picture of this other person dumping, and I think they should be fined for littering, make an example of them, fine them to the max, and also I think these other towns, make them wear a sign, walk up and down the street and say, I dump trash in your compost center. And if it show these people that are doing it, they're laughing at us right now, saying, "Look what I got away with," and they think it's funny that they're doing it. And so let's show them back. Let us laugh at them because they got caught, And I've seen in other towns they've had it on the news that they made people walk up and down the street with these signs on. Use this person as an example and really show this is what we're going to do, and give their name out, who did it and everything, instead of putting it, just being, kept quiet and nothing get done. Let everybody know who it was when they prosecute them,
That does seem to work too, because they,
Well, and you gotta remember that's what the judges do, not the city.
Exactly, yeah.
Our only part in this would be to be able to investigate and turn it over to the law director and then press charges against that individual, which we will do. And so if there's a way to do it, we will do it. We don't discriminate, that's for sure. It doesn't matter who you are. If we catch you doing something contrary to our ordinances and laws, then you will be prosecuted.
Well, that's good. And also, Tim, these Planet Aid boxes, I said something to Nick the other day about there's that couch over by Novastar still sitting there, and there's a mattress up by Furniture Town, right in Main Street. If these people the businesses are allowing these boxes come in, they're the ones giving them permission, why aren't they cleaning this up? Or who's responsible for cleaning these?
Well, we do call them and let them know. They are supposed to have somebody that goes weekly and look at the boxes, which I really doubt is really happening, but they have cleaned it up when we've called them. Right now the Planning Commission is reviewing an ordinance to regulate those. It's been suggested possibly, even if we have I think Mr. Church suggested, because we talked about recycling, maybe having it out there is possibly, why not put those out there where our tenant can oversee them? I mean, if you're going to drop something off, it may not be the most convenient location, but it is a controlled location, because what usually happens is you can't watch them 24/7, and probably most of the time when the dumping occurs is in the evenings when nobody's around. But the property owner will be held responsible if this ordinance passes to keep the property clean. So they'll either be calling or having to clean it up themselves because they really do get abused.
Yeah.
And again, it's the people. I mean, unfortunately, they figure, you know, it's going to be there, they're going to clean it up, and it's unfortunate that they don't respect what those bins are for and the property owner's property.
Well, I'm just looking at like this one's on Mill Street, you know, come 4th of July, if that's still sitting there. It's been sitting there 3 weeks now, almost, well, about 2 weeks. And if it's sitting there, it doesn't make our town look very good. And the mattress uptown, I mean, for the 4th of July, if that stuff isn't gotten rid of by then, I mean, it looks disgusting when you walk by it, especially after it gets rained on over and over.
And basically, our ordinance will limit the number they can have in the city. So that will be a plus, and locations. They spring up like mushrooms.
I know, they're all over. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Tim, injection well, I know you had a meeting that I think you and Nick went to with State Representative Patterson and also county commissioners, I think, were there too. He came out of that meeting not real happy with it. Did you think you accomplished anything at that?
No, I think, it's, I didn't stay for the whole thing, but it was just a rehash of what the rules were, basically. I mean, their explanation of not really having hearings was the fact that they sometimes escalate to the point where their staff is disparaged and possibly threatened, and they said we just we're not going to put our staff in harm's way because people are upset about it, and really they're enforcing what the federal government tells them to enforce. They can't change the rules. They do have to issue permits if you meet the requirements. Unless somebody can really find some empirical data, that really counters something that they can hang their hat on, it makes it real difficult for them to say no. But they did elect to, instead of going to the federal government to get your permit, the state of Ohio elected to do that for them. So they get us, I thought the guy quoted $170,000 a year to do this, but he says, our hands are tied also. But
they also want to set a precedent in having a hearing.
I think their comments were that if you can assure us that our people will be safe, it'll be a controlled meeting, it just doesn't get out of hand, then there's a good possibility they would do it. But
how do you guarantee?
Well, you could have an officer there. You got to have somebody controlling the meeting as a chairman that can keep order.
Right.
But if you just let people, you've seen it before, I'm sure, when you get a meeting and people are commenting when it's not their turn, they're being disparaging, and it really doesn't accomplish anything. But they said they've actually had people when they go out in the parking lot that really feared for their safety.
No kidding.
Yeah, because he said it gets very.
I've been to meetings
very
like
passionate.
That.
So he said, he said you had one meeting where you had state troopers, county sheriffs, and stuff there because it was just.
Wow.
Because they said they really feared for the safety of their personnel, and they're just doing their job.
Sure.
And to direct your anger towards somebody doing their job, really, it's inexcusable. But that's why these processes end up taking the course they do. But he said, if you can assure us it'll be a controlled meeting and there'll be there people to help, then it's probably a good possibility.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Pat.
Hi.
And Tim. I was wondering if you're going to close it for approximately 2 weeks to a month. Do you have a place where people can take their yard stuff? Because building up in a garage and around a house is not going to be good in this type of weather. And also, Tim, I am in favor of you putting all those planet boxes and all those in one spot, because I think our city would be much cleaner and nicer looking without them spread all over the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, I don't think we have the plan. I'm sure most will throw it alongside the road, but we'll figure something out and have some discussions with council. But
Well, I think like Nick said, Tim, and you kind of indicated it too. If you can get it done in 2 weeks, you can live with that. even a month. I mean,
it's going to take us quite a little longer to clean it up, but there's probably a way to, like I say, just do it when nobody's there. And obviously we hope that common sense prevails, that you don't do it while people are there. But there is a lot to clean up. I mean, people, like I say, have been dumping construction debris for 3 years or better, and now it's just a matter of digging it out and finding out where it is.
and didn't you guys clean it up at one time, and then within days it was filled up again?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a great thing. The problem you really have with composting sites like this is really where's the market. Either you hopefully can find somebody that wants to process it. I mean, that's what your bag mulch is you get at the stores. It's processed because you got to cook it. You got to kill the weed seed, or it's just nobody's going to want it. The farmers aren't going to want it because they're fighting the weeds all the time. They don't want to add more to their problem. So if you can find a way to cook it, as they say, and add some fertilizer, then you could package it and sell it. But I mean, otherwise, what do you do with it?
You know, we have raised beds at home for our little garden thing because we can't dig into the ground because it's clay. But we put down this dirt that we buy at the Home Depot or wherever. You would believe the things that are in it. There's plastic things and everything because it's like you say, they cook it. And
the city of Marshall, when we had it, the county gave us funding to help support it, which they used to do here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was around $19,000 a year that the city got from the county to have the center. But as everything as your revenue shrinks, so does what you provide. But we screened it, and it was really, once you screen it, you can get all the plastic and crap out of it.
Right.
And it almost looks like top dirt when you're done. So it's just a matter of the weed seeds, which you can fight a little bit depending on what you're using it for. But we got to get to the point where we separate the wood chips, we separate the leaves again, and deal with that on a different level. But we're going to contact, we got to get pricing on grinders and stuff so that we know what it's going to cost us, because you do have to grind the brush up every once in a while. And again, if we can find another site, maybe it just comes down to we sell what we can, and at the end of the year, whatever's left, you spread over 20, 30 acres and just let it go back to nature.
Sure.
So that's we are going to be talking to the EPA. Janice Spitzer set up a contact and get their feedback and assistance, and say, look, what can we do? Can we land apply this, and what can we do? Because right now we don't have a market, we don't have a vendor that wants it. So,
Tim, I just got this in from the Public Works Department just seconds ago. Friday, June 27th, which would be in 2 days, starting at 7 a.m., you're going to be doing work at Park Avenue from Broad Street 50 feet west. This will be a construction zone for emergency storm sewer repairs. Was that on the agenda, or did that just pop up?
No, that's just our normal work. I think they're letting people know that there is a steel plate right at the corner next to Michalski's bake shop there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I said, look, we're focusing in getting things ready for the 4th, so that's one of the areas that we need to get fixed, because that's one of the streets that's going to get paved, because you're going to have Park Avenue, Buffalo, parts of Buffalo from Park to Lake is going to get paved, Park from Broad to Sandusky, Day Street from Park to Erie. So those areas, we're trying to make sure we get all our repairs done. You are going to have the work starting on Harbor for the sewer line and that stuff here.
Okay.
Hopefully, if it's not this week, I see a lot of misdig markings, or oops markings you call them here. So we're trying to get a lot of the things ready, and I basically have said I really don't want to go through another year where we just have a lot of steel plates sitting around. We got to start eliminating those and getting the repairs made. So again, some things are going to be put on the side for a little while, because we really need to get these sinkholes taken care of.
Yeah.
So we're letting the public know, you're probably going to...
Well, as Doris said here, please use caution in these areas. Flagmen will be on site, but they are asking you to use, if you can, hopefully use another alternate route, because it's going to be...
And I mean, it's going to affect the bait shop there, but it's got to get fixed.
Yeah. 4th of July coming up. Usually they close off some of the streets and that sort of stuff for the parade.
We're looking at those areas to get those roads fixed too. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And also some of the side streets, you don't have parking on certain sides because of trying to keep the congestion down and stuff. So of course, you live in that area. You'll probably have to put up.
I got a parking spot.
Yeah, you got the
I
driveway.
can walk to the fair, so it's really nice. I can see the fireworks.
Hi, you're on the air.
Morning, Pat. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tim, I know you got your streets set for this year, which ones you're going to pave and so forth. But I just wanted to remind you that Woodworth Road was never completed from the original list. It's south to Old Main, from the railroad track south. So I just wanted to remind you that. And then there's, on the corner of Tyler Avenue and Old Main, that is really a dangerous intersection because you cannot see down Old Main Road because the weeds are so high on both sides of Tyler Avenue on the, would be the south,
Oh, yeah.
east, or I'm trying to think it would be east or west, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And
That,
that's
something needs to be done there because you have to actually almost pull the front of your vehicle into the intersection just to see down either way on that section there. So
sure.
they used to mow that. The original people that owned that house used to mow the hill there, and now they're just mowing the top of it. And it's kind of hard to see because of all the weeds and so forth.
We'll let them know because they're still responsible to mow that area if they have been. But that's one of the things, at least with this new brush hog we have with the articulating arm, is we can get these areas that you can reach right up and mow back 10 feet or better. So, but we'll look at that. And
Well, what I was going to suggest, I don't know how much the city owns would be towards the creek side of the Tyler Avenue.
mm-hmm.
Maybe they could trim that hill a little bit, like they did out on Under Ridge Road.
Yeah.
Maybe they could trim that a little bit so that it's more smooth. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would make it a little easier to see down that road.
Yeah. No, we're gonna. Some of those road right of ways and stuff. We are gonna. If it's our responsibility, yes, we'll get her mowed back, and we'll look at some of that stuff. But a lot of the areas we mow are the agricultural areas because under our noxious weed ordinance, they're exempt. So.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, that's all I wanted to let you know about.
Okay, Tommy.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
You know, I not that you need any more work, but I've noticed that there are streets, especially in my neighborhood there, I noticed that there are a lot of stuff that's hard to see around because
Sure.
they have overgrown, you know. And I know with that limited staff you have, it's very hard to keep up with that stuff.
Well, we're looking. I talked with Mr. Mannion. I know the 30th he's going to go over to water distribution, but over by our cemetery on Furnace, where you get that curb just before you hit the railroad tracks, I said this new machine we have is just perfect. We can just mow that all the way back,
Mm-hmm.
15 feet if we have
Sure.
to. So when you're coming down, you can get that sight distance to the tracks. Not that they're real busy, but it's just a little more safety. So some of those areas that really we think need to be done, we'll look into. But normally, if some of those are really just the property owner's responsibility.
Yeah.
So it makes it tough. But
Tim, before I let you go, there's been stories out there the last few weeks. Some of them coming from actual council members that you're thinking about maybe moving on. Is there any truth to that?
oh, I always look around.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I always
I've
find
done it all my life.
Always find out what you're worth somewhere around. Who knows?
I mean, LeBron does it
That's right.
did it yesterday.
That's
you know?
right.
You never know. You always keep your options open.
Well, see, you're young enough where you could actually move on to a different level.
Yeah,
You know.
Conneaut's a nice community. It really is.
Mhm.
And I basically, my wife have been talking, and it's not. Some people always say managers move on. It's just money, money, money. And I'm not a money person. It's not a money issue. I got a granddaughter that's over in Indianapolis that 6-hour drive to get there.
Right.
Obviously, if I could get closer, it'd be nice. But,
Well, you mentioned family. I had opportunities to move out of here when I was a lot younger, but my dad was ill, disabled veteran, and I didn't want to leave him, and I stayed here, and it hurt my career. But you know, I feel better to this day. He's gone now, but I feel better to this day that I hung out because I love this town, like you do as well,
Yeah, I mean,
Samara.
Well, yes, absolutely. And you can see it right now with the calls that are coming in and the comments that are being made. You know, it's aggravating when people don't do their part, but you know, there are so many of you that are willing to do your part, and the calls that you get, the emails that, you know, are being received is because you care about your city. And that's what's important. And I'm just, you know, and listening to Tim and Pat talk, I've been here only 11 years, so I'm new still in Conneaut. But I'm just so proud of our community, our city, our leadership, and you know, media, because you know, we really care about what happens over here. And I think that that's the most important thing to remember, is that, you know, we are in this together. Conneaut City is a beautiful place. We forget living here what a privilege it is to live right along the lake. Not a lot of people can claim that. I'm from Phoenix, so water was a you know, hot commodity. So I'm just really proud of you as a city, and you know, as leadership, and that is, you know, we care about what happens.
And you know,
here.
Samara and Tim, you know, the people that are abusing like the compost site or not mowing their lawns, it's a small percentage.
That's right.
Really, there's a lot of good people here.
Right. And the reason why it's, you know, it gets so much notoriety and media attention is because it's a rarity. You know, it's very surprising and shocking, and that's what makes news. So we have to keep that in mind too.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Hi, Pat. I'd like to ask the city manager if, in the streets they're paving, are they ever going to fix these 2 holes on Cleveland Court that have been there for over a year now? And every time it rains, it washes the dirt and gravel out of them, and then there's another big hole there.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to put a new water line in on that street eventually.
Really?
Yeah, we'll look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I say, it's a very nice community. People don't realize what they have, and a lot of times we tend to complain about the negative stuff when you really should be looking at the positives that you
Absolutely.
have here. I mean, you've got the shores moving forward, which is a huge plus, even though it's a little slow start. But you got 2 new houses there. You've got development along the lakefront with new homes. We do have some.
There are some nice homes coming up.
Oh,
on
yeah,
Lake.
yeah.
We just drove by there yesterday.
We're starting to hear a few more things about possibly some more commercial activity. So a lot has to change. I mean, it is kind of an oddball. It's odd in the fact that you have such great amenities, and you're between a lot of different major cities, but people just maybe it's just a little too far for some in Cleveland. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, people are fixing up their homes. Yes, you've got some blight, but that's inherent to any community.
Yeah, especially today.
Yeah, and we're really, you know, staff is really working hard with individuals. If you really can't, we send you a violation notice and you're just having problems, let us know. We do try to find a resolve for you. We're not just trying to hammer people and, you know, say clean it up. I mean, we're there. You know, we'll try to help you find things. But it's tough for some, but it's a good community.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hi. I was wondering if the city might institute something like a couple of cleanup days during the year so that people can get rid of old couches and carpet and things like that. They do that in Ashtabula, and I think that prevents a lot of houses with junky stuff in it that turn into rat nests, especially if they're abandoned. And also, a lot of this dumping, I think, is just ignorance because people just don't even know what to do with this stuff. I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, very good point.
I know Councilmember Hedrick had brought it up, but again, it's funding. Community I left, we did it. It was and it was only 4 square miles, but it was a $9,000-$10,000 investment to have a vendor
Just
come
for that
in.
small amount?
Just that small community.
Wow.
So it would be great if you could. I mean, we were, but a lot of it is. I mean, really, I think a lot of it is to some degree. Some people do have trash pickup, and they can contact their vendor to get rid of their sofa or chair, whatever they have. And 9 times out of 10, what do you see? It's along the curb with a sign that says for free. Like somebody's really going to pick it up or whatever. And it's like, you know, just pay the extra $10 and
Right.
get it picked up. That's
Exactly.
what needs to happen. And you're right. There's those that are going to throw it alongside the road just simply because they don't want to spend $10.
And I get a kick out of these people that put their sofa out there. It rained one time, it's done.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
It
nothing you can
doesn't
do
matter
with that
if
thing.
it's free or not. You're
Right.
gonna have to pay somebody to come and get it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So it's amazing.
Hi, you're on the air.
Pat, it's PT. Good morning.
Hi, PT. Good morning to you.
I have a question for Tim.
Sure.
I've been listening this morning and listening to him in other meetings and everything, and it seems as though every time we run into a problem or discover, I guess that's the word, a problem area, whether it be vandalism, whether it be graffiti, whether it be trash dumping, whether it be speeding, whether it be whatever. Every time we run into a problem, well, we're addressing that, but we're short-staffed, we got a manpower problem, but we're looking into it. Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? When are we going to be able to get out of this doldrum of not having enough police officers, not having enough city workers? Can you see that situation changing, or are we going to have to just sit back and wait?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Personally, I'm tired of waiting.
Well, we probably all are. I mean, it comes down to, obviously everything in this world comes down to money and funding. And the majority of the funding for Conneaut comes from income tax. So unless you have increased jobs, which I understand maybe General Aluminum is looking to expand, like I say, we're getting a few more. We got individuals looking at the community, and that's the plus. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just, I don't think the economy at this point is as strong as everybody would like it to be, but it sounds like what we're hearing out of the manufacturing, and at least in Conneaut, that they are growing, they're starting to move, and eventually it will happen. But again, the things that really obviously hurt your budget the most are your benefit packages. I mean, those always go up, wages, and we've basically touted the fact that you know, if you as a bargaining unit or so gets a raise, then that money has to come from somewhere. And that just means a reduction somewhere. But right now we do have 10 individuals now in the public works. Of course, 2 are injured, so they're off the list for a while. But I'll be honest with you, for even the number of guys we have, this community, from those that I've visited here and there, has done a very good job of keeping things up. I've been to more affluent communities where they don't have the crosswalks painted. I mean, they look worse than we do. But it just, I think it'll change. I think you'll see more. Every day, the department heads, we discuss what we can do better, where we can save money, and try to put it back into personnel if possible. I know Council Member Carroll, one of his goals was we need to hire at least another officer, and we're really trying to figure out how to do it. So it's going to happen. It's just going to take some time.
Well, it's nice to hear that you're that positive in your thinking. I try to be that way too, but it just seems as though we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Anytime you call in with a complaint about thus or so, well, we have to catch him in the act. Well, how are you going to catch him in the act if you don't have people to catch him? That's what I don't understand.
Well, it is. It is tough. I mean, and that stuff obviously is going to happen because you can't have a cop on every corner. But
well, no, I was told that by a letter from a police officer one time about what makes me think I'm special for having a police officer on my street all the time. Well, that's not what I was asking. But
no. And that wouldn't be a good response.
No.
It should be.
I turned it over to you guys. Nothing was ever done about it. So, but anyway, if he worked for me, there would have been something done about it. He'd been looking for a job.
Yeah,
but anyway, I just feel that I'm glad to hear you're positive. I try to be positive. I think everybody else does. But I tell you what, patience is wearing a little thin with what we have to put up with around here.
Well, and again, you've got to look at the economics, and you know, Ohio, you get 35% of your assessed value, which isn't much. You do have limits on the millage. I mean, we're I am, and I know council's very grateful that the community has supported the street levy and the fire levy. I mean, that's money out of your pockets, and we do appreciate it and spend it as wisely as we can to keep the services going. But that's what it takes. I mean, a lot of communities fight tax increases, which that's the only way government funds itself. Like I say, we don't make a product, we can't raise a price, but we do appreciate everything, all the support that the community has done over these, at least I have, these last 3 years. I mean, it's
well, I think the community's trying. I give credit where credit's due. Everybody's trying. I never saw a community as giving as this place. Like Marty right now looking for contributions for fireworks. Well, fireworks are fireworks. I mean, take them or leave them. But to a lot of people, that's an important thing. Mm-hmm. And I respect Marty for what he's trying to do, but my God, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. That's what I was always taught.
Right.
But anyway, that's enough. I just thought I'd ask you those questions.
Sure.
I'd be willing to help in any way I can, in any way I can. But I think our courts should be involved a little more by designating some of these people who are convicted to help you guys out a little bit, whether it be refuse collection or whatever. I think the courts ought to participate in that.
Oh, we do. We do have a lady for community hours that does do some of our janitorial work. I mean, what would help a lot too is neighborhoods adopting the parks. You know, if there's a park in your neighborhood as a neighborhood, see if you can go in there and help maintain it, do a little weeding. You know, if you see trash, just pick it up. Right. Just things like that, just to really help your community shine. And when people visit it, word gets around that, gee, you know, look at Conneaut. We've gone to their parks. They're pristine. I mean, it's not just Township Park, which is great, but Dean Avenue, Liberty Park. I mean, you gotta have that participation from your citizens that take the pride and help keep the areas clean. So.
All right. Okay, Tim. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
Tim, thank you so much for coming in. Know we did a little overtime here, but
That's all right.
you had a lot of phone calls, so that's what it's all about.